Hi, and welcome back to my kitchen. I hope you guys were able to catch my other video that we did here in my house. My baby and I welcome you into our home. So today I'm actually going to do something that I've only made a couple of times, but I've been really impressed both times that I've made it. And the specific reason I made it is because I have a toddler, and sometimes those toddlers don't want to eat their vegetables or go through that little picky phase. And I wanted to figure out a way to get in some greens and vegetables that maybe he wasn't gonna know were in there. And so that's kind of what this recipe does for my family. It allows for more greens and more nutrients. So it's a Tropical Sunrise Muffin is the name of it. Delicious, really, really good. And so what I'll be using is the Balanced Greens Total Health Superfood Blend. This is actually the greens that I use myself. When I do a superfood smoothie in the morning, if I haven't made these muffins, or if I just want to get my daily greens in, I still eat greens, but if I want to get a serving in that's already been, organic, prepackaged kind of situation that I know I'm getting all these dense superfoods in, this is actually my go-to greens. And the reason is because the formula is very simple. So the formula is barley grass, wheatgrass, spirulina, alfalfa, rosehips, which is one of the most naturally highest occurring sources of vitamin C. Orange peel, which is a bitter, so it helps break down the herbs or the greens that you're taking in. Lemon peel is also a bitter, so it helps with digestion. Nutritional yeast, which is high in B vitamins, beetroot, spinach, kelp, and then this is the magic behind this. It is absolutely delicious for a greens powder. Now keep in mind, it still has all the green nutrients, so you're still gonna have a little bit of that green, but it's pineapple coconut flavored, and it's from an organic pina colada, organic stevia, and it's honestly just delicious. So I mix it with water a lot of times if I haven't made these muffins. So let's get going on the recipe. I've gotta pull up my phone here so that I make sure I get it all right. So we're gonna do all the dry ingredients first. So let's start with the flour. So this is the flour that my family uses. It's cup for cup. It's a multi-purpose gluten-free flour. I'm not fully gluten-free, but I do if I'm gonna bake and I'm gonna eat a larger quantity of gluten, I kinda like to go for a gluten-free option. 1. 2. So 2 cups. Let's open this back up. So we're gonna do 2 cups of the flour. We are going to do, I already had this measured out over here. We're gonna do 1 teaspoon of baking powder. Pour that in. We're gonna do the sugar. We always use coconut sugar in my family, so we're not big on the cane sugar. Coconut sugar is a little less glycemic, so it's gonna impact your blood sugar a little bit less. And then we love the kind of like almost brown sugar taste that coconut sugar provides. This recipe calls for 1 cup. I always do a little less sugar, so maybe around 3/4. I just love to make things not quite as sweet. Okay, 1, 3/4, like I said. Let's do the teaspoon of salt. My favorite salt is Redmond, real salt. It's got all those minerals inside of it. So I love that. So 1 teaspoon. Let's see, let's do the cinnamon. And then I think we got everything. Yeah, we did. Oh, gotta add the greens powder. That would be bad. Okay, so the cinnamon, we need to add a teaspoon. So I'm gonna open this up real quick. So a lot of cinnamon. I love good cinnamon inside of a muffin. There we go. So here's all my dry ingredients, and then I'm gonna mix in the last thing that's gonna give it some color. So like I said, all those green spirulinas and barley grass and all that's gonna actually make the muffins look green, which may kind of blow your mind because you've probably never had green muffins. So we are gonna do, I generally do a little bit more because I'm trying to get this in for my son to make sure he's eating his greens. So it's actually 6 scoops. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Perfect. And it has a little bit of probiotics in there as well, so for people that are kind of wondering about that. Okay, now I'm gonna mash the bananas. So in an ideal world, these bananas would be a little bit more ripe, but this is what we have. And I have made the recipe like this before when they've not been as ripe, and they still turn out great. So I'm gonna mash all these together. Anyone that's made banana bread before is probably familiar with this mashing of bananas that needs to go on. And I already have my oven preset to 350, so that was something I did before we got on the video here. That's good. Okay, so we're gonna go now, I'm gonna bring my butter over. I've melted that on the stove. We don't use a microwave in our house, so we do all things from the oven. So I'm gonna go and do all the liquid ingredients. Move that out of the way. So we're gonna do the butter. That was 1 stick of unsalted butter. Okay. And then we're gonna do the bananas in. We're gonna do the eggs, and we're gonna do vanilla. So let's do the vanilla first. 1 teaspoon. Love good vanilla extract. There we go. We're gonna add the bananas. Bananas, butter, and vanilla extract. Yummy. Okay, and I gotta get the eggs out of the fridge. Alrighty, 2 eggs. There we go. Get a towel. Alrighty. Okay. So we have all those ingredients. Whoop, the last remaining one, applesauce. So love what applesauce does for the texture of muffins. I don't know if anyone's used them before, but applesauce just provides like this really moistness without adding any fats or without adding any added sugars, because it's just the sugar that's going to be within the apple. So let me get the quantity here of applesauce. 1/2 cup. So we're actually going to mix this first, and then we fold in the applesauce. So I'm currently mixing up the bananas, the vanilla, and the eggs. Perfect. So you can kind of see, still got the chunky bananas in there, but it's going to be perfect. So there's that. Let me make sure I mix evenly all of my dry ingredients. You can see that balanced greens, delicious pineapple coconut greens going in there. Look at that cool color. It's different than what most muffins would look like. All right, I feel good about that. So we're gonna start adding the dry into the wet. Stop and stir for a second. Smells so good. I will say as well, so my 2-year-old, he'll actually drink that greens if I mix it with a little bit of coconut water. So that's kind of my other tip. If we're vacationing or we're somewhere that greens are hard to find, that's a good way to get them in. Okay. It's always a little tedious. Oh no, I just splashed the baby. It's always a little tedious to mix up dry with wet ingredients because you don't want to overmix, but you also want to go kind of slow with it. So this looks a little dry. It's because we haven't added the applesauce yet. It's going to be the key factor here. Okay, our last little bit. And then we'll add the applesauce. So Balanced Greens actually has a chef on their staff that is coming up with these delicious recipes. So this is a thank you to him for coming up with this. So this is a tried and true recipe, not something that I just threw together, but something that their chef came up with. All right, so I feel good about that. Now we are going to mix the applesauce in, and that was a 1/2 cup. Let's do that. Perfect. Oh, that was 1/3 cup. So we need a little bit more. Thought I had a 1/2 cup measure there. Alrighty. Perfect, so we just fold that right in, and I'll show you here what it all looks like. I don't want to see any powder. Got those chunks of bananas. Perfect. And I folded in the applesauce. So it looks a little different than most muffins, right? But I promise, if you could taste this, and hopefully you will because you'll make it, you'll be very impressed. So I'll go over here, coconut oil spray. That's my go-to for any kind of muffin. Bring it over here. Alrighty, we're gonna fill up. Ooh, so yummy. So we've got greens, we've got fruits, bananas and apples. Got a couple eggs, got the healthy butter. Huge fan of butter. Such a healthy saturated fat. Cool. And then we've got that coconut sugar that I mentioned, which is my family's go-to. We never use cane sugar, so always swapping out. Anytime it says sugar, that's my go-to. I know a lot of people that love to cook with stevias and monk fruits, and I do a little bit of that, but I think to get the most real flavor, the coconut sugar does that. I'm gonna spray a couple more. They work out just perfect. Perfect. Look at that. Let's add a little bit more to that one. Perfect. Okay. So here is our muffins, the Tropical Sunrise Muffins. They're going to go into the oven. I'm going to put them lower, actually. Believe it's 25 minutes, but I want to check before I do that. Alrighty, 25 minutes. I was right. So I'll probably set it on 22, and I'll come back and look. All right, 22 minutes, and we will be back with our delicious muffins. Thanks for watching. All right, so we're back, and the muffins are completed, and so that was 25 minutes of cooking in the oven. I think they look delicious. Now they probably look a little different than your average muffin because I said they're green. So I'm actually gonna take one out here. Now they're hot because I just got them out of the oven. Cut it open. You might even see the steam. Oh yeah, you do, look. Add some butter here. Let that melt in between there for a second. And then I'm gonna take a little bite. Mmm. So good. So I'm actually gonna, my little boy's over there. He's already eating one of the muffins, so that's what you can hear. I'm gonna take a big bite that has butter on it. Mmm. Delicious. So, I hope you give them a try. And then remember, if you have the leftover balanced greens, throw it in some coconut water, throw it in some water, and throw it in a smoothie. Make it your daily greens or bake with it. So thank you for watching today.